Last blog of the day. It's called Light from 2020. God created light before he created light-emitting objects in my reading of Bereshit. It's the book of Genesis. And that is actually true. Therefore, and I may be completely wrong here, but if that is the case, then we see the future of light the future of light-emitting objects here on Earth, unless light travels at instantaneous speed. And I think I mentioned in other blogs, hopefully I didn't have to remove them because of censorship issues. I did remove a few. And this would mean that when we see whatever we see in outer space from a star, a distant star, is what's happening with that star at this very time, because light travels instantaneously. And as I mentioned, there is a guy on YouTube who talks about this. Well, I can't remember his name. Lyle Johnson. I honestly don't remember his name. But if you look up answers in Genesis, he's not on that. He's on another kind of like a Christian scientific channel. I don't think you'll have too much trouble finding it. Anyways, very, very super duper interesting. And that is the fact that light actually, the two-way speed of light, that is, to measure light, they fire a laser at a mirror and then it comes back to them and they say, well, it took this long. But what he's saying is that the one-way speed of light traveling to the mirror is different than its reflected speed, because of course it kind of makes sense, as I think I mentioned previously, because if light hits an object, it's the same as a bullet hitting an object. Once it hits the object, it changes the speed and direction of the bullet, and may even stop it completely. And you could say that what they call a black hole or a dark star, an object massive enough to pull light into it, can actually pull the light into it, and the light stops right there in the same manner. But by and large, light reflects off things, and after that, once it's hit something and reflected, that's when the speed of the light becomes what the speed that they record it as. I don't know if I'm making any sense here, but basically, the light God created in the beginning, when God said Yahi Or, probably didn't pronounce that right, but anyway, it means let there be light. He was the light. And what I base this on is in the book of Revelation, it says that there will be no sun or moon or stars, that God will be an eternal light for the people in his eternal kingdom. Okay, so maybe that's how things were at the beginning too. God was light. Now, so 4 days later, then he created the light emitting objects. Alright, and those light emitting objects, I would have speculated that before I understood this idea about the speed of light, I would have said he could have brought the light here. He could have created the light, in fact, the light waves, before the light emitting objects, and he could have either created them to tell us what that object is doing right now, or a little ahead of time, or a little behind time. God has absolute power, so he could have done any of these things, even if the speed of light is what it is, they say it is, which it doesn't really make sense to me considering that guy's idea. Either way, light came before the objects that create light. That's from Bereshit. Here, I'll continue this a little bit. So perhaps, if one could take two synchronized atomic clocks, keep one here on Earth, and place another on the surface of the Sun, and use a laser to transmit the Sun's atomic clock time to us here, the time differential would reflect the future preview in our calculations. However, according to this guy, that's not possible because of the nature, because the speed of light is so fast, even with this reflected speed of light idea, that anything affects it, even the mechanisms of a clock or moving a clock, because of Einstein's law of relativity, taking the clock and just moving it apart causes enough degrees of inaccuracy to void any accurate measurements you could make. But anyway, I guess we might find out at some point. Someone might figure out how to overcome those obstacles in measuring light at some point. And that's my blogs for today. I'll see you next time.